Hey friends, it's Joe from DadBod. Today is day 78 of your program, and it is the top of week 12. Today we have a 9.3 mile run, which is exactly a 15K or 3/4 of the way to a half marathon. It's around 81 degrees and 4:11 in the morning. I think I woke up today at like 3:30, so let's get to work. Also, and we've talked about this in the past, as I put you on my head, GoPros perform very poorly in the dark, so the first 2 to 3 miles of this is going to be like garbage. I mean, besides the podcast portion of it, the mic still works at night, naturally. Also, there are some huge cicadas bouncing around in the walls. It's dark and I can't see, so you'll probably get a couple skittish shrieks out of me at one point or another. Wow, this looks fully blocked off. Hopefully the path still works. Not particularly excited about today. I might actually use a flashlight down here just because it's so dark. 1 second. Alright, flashlight running. No spideys. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, good morning, friends. Well, we're doing it. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives for us all. Ah! I already see little flying bugs. I don't like this. And I know that if I'm the first one through here and I'm massively tall, this is like spider overhang city. It's funny, as soon as I went down the steps, I was like, should I just not? I was like, because I know a path along the street. At this hour, there'd be nothing out here, but let's give it a go. If for some reason, the path is blocked, the path is blocked, right? We'll just turn around. Ooh, bat. Morning, everybody. Whoa, frick. That was a little close. That wasn't a bug. Hopefully there's not any bats that bite. That would suck. Yeah, I woke up at 3:30. Multiple kids had ended up in our room. Felicia was missing. I go upstairs, start making my drink. Found her passed out on the couch. Then I made my drink, put my stuff in my pocket, saw her like standing up, and then going back to bed. And I was like, all right, well, she's half functional. Pass back out. Kids moving between bedrooms and crap, and I was like, oh man, I just hope everyone just settles the heck out so I can go get this run. And so hopefully she can sleep. I keep pulling them up earlier just so I can get back in time to help with the morning routine. They keep throwing us curveballs. drop your pace a little bit. Probably going too fast. I know I am. Huh. I'm not gonna say anything yet. Let me wait till I clear this. Alright. I was like, huh. I didn't run into any spider webs. That's nice. Good morning, y'all. All right. You know what we got today? 9 miles, all right? Cat, 9.3 miles. Those things. Now, cicadas, from what I understand, my whole life, don't bite. Or at least I've never personally been bit by one. So, don't trust me on that. But the problem out here is they're so huge. I think I can cut that. Like, they're just giant creatures. So, when they hit you, they're so fast and so dumb. It's like a little thud, and it's just very unsettling. So you naturally get the jump scare. Anyone have sore legs today? Let me know in the comments what you're starting off with. What are the creaks, cracks, and pops you gotta work through at the start of this thing, and then maybe after your run? Because you could totally whip out your phone and go put it back in your pocket, right? And then after the run, let me know what creaks and pops you get to finish with. And I think you'll be lovingly surprised at how they change. That's always the thing for me, man. Like, I'll start out and I'll have this insecurity, like, oh man, the top of my left foot, that little tendon feels a little too snug. Oh man, that's gonna be a huge problem. After about 2 miles, once I start to burn in to that long distance pace, that's like the last thing on my mind. It ends up being like my right hip socket or my left glute. Or lately, for the last 2-3 runs, upper back between the shoulder blades, which today woke up a little sore. Right now it's not really a bother. Not sure why. For me, the biggest bother is that even at 4:15 in the morning, it is stupid humid. Absolutely stupid how humid it is. Like, how darn thick the air can be. And it's still a residual 81 degrees with 0 sunshine, but with humidity. Oh man, it still feels like 92, 93. If you know anything about me,
I'm a snowbird, but not by the proper definition. I'm a bird that likes to fly in the snow. I love like 30-mile-an-hour winds, 2-foot snow drifts, -20 with wind chill, weather that reminds you that you're mortal. I would take that over heat every single day. Don't want to die on the stairs. Ooh, it's a bunny. Mellow. Keep it mellow, y'all. It is so hot. So hot. But it's quiet. It's a special run for us. So, 9.3 miles. We're definitely getting over there, okay? We're gonna run all the way down that stupid bridge. We're gonna run all the way up the hill. To get to the top of the bridge, we're gonna run across the bridge. We're gonna run along the river. We're gonna turn around, run up another dumb hill to get to the bridge. Run over the bridge, run down the bridge, and then run all the way back. Yay. Nice. I don't know why, man. Grass seems super tall today. Although we have had some heavy rains. Friends, I'm so proud of you. Okay, you're doing really good in this program. You're at the top of week 12. Like, couldn't be doing much better than that. All right. So just keep sticking it out. Keep showing up. Don't lose heart. We all know this program is tricky. There is no easy way to run a 4K. Not a 4K. Half marathon. The heck is a 4K? It's a TV. Or a projector. I still have that projector on my mind. The house we live in, which is a pretty wild house for Tokyo. Like, we live in a 4-bedroom in central Tokyo. Johnson & Johnson, in their generosity when they moved us out here, covers our rent. Huge blessing. Anyway, the house was built by some kind of audiophile, which is a blessing because
distance 1 mile. Total time 13 minutes and 9 seconds.
Nice.
Split pace 13 minutes 8 seconds per mile.
Beautiful pace. So like, it's built by an audiophile, just like me. And in the basement, which is kind of like my work from home office / streaming room, for music and video games. It's actually like a theater room. But for the house didn't come with a projector. Those things are expensive if you get a good one. So like for the last year and a half, I just had the projector screen covered with a green screen because I can't retract it. So I've been looking at reconfiguring the room. And as I've started laying things out, I'm like, maybe I can game off the projector. That would be cool. It's like one of those moments where me and Felicia kind of take a detour in our planning. And we're like, shoot, do we need a projector? Have we been doing this wrong the whole time? Don't lose your lean, by the way. Find those abs. But we just started like really looking at it. We went to this store called Tatsuya, which is amazing. Japanese Best Buy on steroids. And we just started looking in to like different options. And the problem, first of all, we don't have cash for this purchase if we were to make it. Like, our financials a year and a half into Japan still aren't working. But it's also one of those things where, like, we don't know how long we will live in Japan. So every decision on whether or not to get something for the house or go on an experience or a trip, like, discernment is really hard when you're not sure if your life is a long-term or a short-term assignment. You know, so every purchase, you go through this doubt of like, crap, am I gonna have to give this away or sell it or move it in 6 months to 2 years? Or can we assume that this really is our life out here for 3 to 5 to even 10 years? And the lack of true discernment in those spaces, it's really tricky. And it does impact all the choices we make. We drift between fear that we're leaving and not investing in our space, or, you know, it is a possibly misplaced belief that we're staying and maybe over connecting with the space. I'll say we're learning a lot in that tension, my friend. We're trying to solve problems we ain't never had before. They're great problems. They're definitely first world problems. Some people are thinking about whether they're gonna eat, not whether they're getting a projector, right? How gozaimasu. So we totally recognize that, like, the problems we're trying to solve, they're unique to us, they're real to us, but they're definitely privileged. It's just tricky to figure all that out. It's also hard because when I make these choices, I'm not just making them for me and Felicia. Sorry, Felicia and I. Or Felicia and I and the kids. Or Felicia and I and our friends. But there's also this weird third context. Felicia and I, our kids, and our digital community. And the people that enjoy being in our house virtually through TikTok and Twitch and YouTube. And welcoming them into our spaces. So there's a lot of really interesting discernment that we get to work through with any purchase. All right, I'm gonna walk it up for a minute. Turn off the light. Hey, 1.5. That's a good start, friends. I'm not running with the worst form, but I know I'm not running with the best form. So let's get control of our breathing. Let's wake up and get control of our life. Let's remind ourselves 1.5 miles in. Here's your simple reminder, okay? You ready? 1.5 miles in. Your reminder is you're warmed up. That's all you need to think about. You could take all that work. Maybe you're walking with me right now, right? Take all that work you just did, and it's great. Maybe your pace was a little brisker than what you really should have locked in, right? Maybe you're a little winded right now like me because you're running and talking to yourself like a crazy person. Maybe you run and have full out loud arguments with me. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Your whole community's crazy. They like put in reports to the police about you. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. And if you do talk to yourself, please get the help you need. Nah, but you know, you started out dreading it, running from it. Destiny still arrives. And maybe you locked the wrong pace. Your heart rate is fluttering. You're running impatient because you have a lot to do on this Monday. Maybe you're still carrying anxiety from Friday. I know I am. There's like a huge, ooh, sorry, lost my form on that one. Not a friendly feeling. It's nice that we're catching some sunrise. I don't know how much shows up on the GoPro yet because it's still pretty low light footage, so it's probably a little blurry. We'll get some sunshine soon. Sunshine too, right? But maybe your pace is a little out of control. I just want to affirm, you can let go of that 1.5 miles. It's totally over. Segment that from the 9. That was your burn-in, your warm-up. How gozaimasu. That was the, I'm gonna spin. Ooh. Trying not to crack my back, though it just did. If you're walking, still squeeze the walnut, get the tailbone. Anyway, friends, I was gonna talk to you like my kids. Daddy's gonna, he's gonna walk 1/2 mile. He's gonna work on his form, on his hip location, hip height, stride, activation of different muscle groups, because we know, I don't want to say I have more problems than most. I would never want to compare myself that way. But there's a lot I have to think about. I might have to think about certain exercises a lot more than you do, because I'm no spring chicken at 31. But I'm going to take this time, keep the cardio up, right? So I'm striding out. I'm working on form and telling myself, that was a good warm-up. I only got a 7-mile workout today. It's a weird head trick, but we do anything we can to get through, to break it up. I mean, heck, it went pretty quick, right? So you can forget about it. And that way, when we do start the jog again at 2 miles, which we're still gonna count, of course, we can have a mindset of like, oh, okay, now my body's kind of warm. I kind of know the rhythm of things. I know what I signed up for, right? With that sloppy, anxiety-driven challenge at the head of the workout, we can put that anxiety, worry, stress, discomfort on a shelf and be present with that first mile, which is really working towards your third mile. I don't know, it's a new headspace. Let's try it. Just pretend, right? What is it from SpongeBob? Imagination. But hopefully you're enjoying a restful run. You know, maybe things would be better if I was just shut up the whole time, so you just had the nice nature sounds and the long grass. That would be a good adventure, right? But 2 miles in, just about, we could see our beautiful city, see our bridge, which again is super deceptive because there's a train track in front of it at the same exact height. So it looks closer and it's really way the heck out there. Another hinge. Just finding lots of little sore nuggets. Hamstrings, quads. And I watch a lot of weightlifting things on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. It's amazing how toxic people can be to one another in the comments about whether or not something's good fitness advice or good nutrition advice. Like, it's very difficult to peel back the layers and ask yourself, like, what should I do? What should I do with this? For instance, if you have like lower back issues, go ahead, see a surgeon, see a physical therapist, see a medical doctor, get all 3 opinions. You can also buy a book. It's called like The Back Protocol by McGill. The author's McGill. If you search McGill and back, it's a completely different mindset around mobility. And then there are certain influencers that practice his protocol, where like they do squats and lunges with their knees actually going over their toes, like things you were always taught not to do. Stuff that I kind of do in this program to some extent. I don't go full knee over toe on everything, but anyway, there's just endless voices in these spaces, and they all pile on top of each other. They all have different levels of certifications or lack thereof, and you try the things they say, and some of them help, some of them don't. For instance, you might have a compressed disc, a little pancake disc in your L4 and your L5, just like me, right? You have like the same exact issue. And all the training I'm doing with strength, core, back, all this crazy running cardio, because of where you are from like a BMI perspective or your weight perspective, strength ratio, your ability to do things with good form, this should really be like a 32-week journey for you, not 16. You should be edging up half a mile at a time. But because you didn't, maybe your back is worse than when you started. First of all, sorry. Everybody's different, right? This program is scaffolding. I share things that work for me. But you might have been doing all your hinges, all your deadlifts, right, with the wrong form for the last 11 weeks, and your back's never been in worse shape. Part of it could be things I've misled you into, right? I'm not a coach. I'm just another guy with a back injury trying to find what works for his body every day. So again, sympathies for that. Part of it could be just the kind of physical therapy that I've done that works for me and my body doesn't work for you. So I do want to encourage you, if at week 12 you need to stop and like go into formal physical therapy for a couple months, or if you're like me, a year. Or if you do got to get some epidural injections in your lower back to reduce inflammation while you do physical therapy and focus on building core and strength and stability, and then drop back in like a year, please do what your body needs. All right, we're not all supposed to grit our teeth through every part of half marathon training just out of the ego of finishing. You might notice that each run becomes more and more impossible for you, more and more out of reach. Even though you're building strength, you can't keep pace with a mile increase each week. Heck, I'm struggling with it, and this is how I've trained forever. It's just hard to talk. It's hard to talk, and honestly, I've never trained during the core heat of Japanese summer. Like, it's really bad. Let me check my mileage. I think we're almost at 2. Yeah, we're at 2 miles, about 30 minutes in. So, averaging 30 minutes for every 2 miles. Hour gets us 4, 2 hours gets us 8. 2 hours and we'll say 20 minutes. That's what you're looking at today for your 9.3. Whew. All right.
Distance 2 miles. Total time 29 minutes and 57 seconds.
Oh.
Pace 16 minutes 48 seconds per mile.
Thanks. All right, gooey packet time for me. I'm gonna drop back into a jog. Ooh, nice. Y'all are gonna be excited for this one. These ones, I can barely hold it up, are called Tastefully Nude. They have no flavor. It's literally just a packet of sugar, amino acid, salt, and that's the other thing they throw in here, caffeine. Gosh, I'm gonna be lit. That's really bad. This is like the foundation of all these things. I just didn't add in the strawberry shortcake flavor or whatever. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Like, let's talk gooey packets. I take them every 2 miles. They indicate every 45 minutes. I'm a big man, 300 pounds. I need a lift more frequently, even though I have fat reserves. If I was running to cut weight, I shouldn't take them as much as I do because it's just a sugar snack. But for me, I want my energy riding high. I don't like the droops. I used to take them every mile and realized that was too much. Maybe I can stretch them more than every 2 miles too. Maybe someday they will be 45-minute intervals. Plus, these things are expensive. So it's like, how much does it help me? Every body is different. Everyone has a different BMI, body mass index. I'm gonna try to get my form. Got a little bit of hip pull today. Nothing too serious. Mellow. Just kind of falling into a rhythm. Hopefully I could lock this. You know, everyone's got a different hip positioning, different rhythm. Everyone burns calories differently. Big Mac to you might be different than a Big Mac to me. So I guess what I'm saying is, surround yourself with a lot of opinions and perspectives, because that's how we learn. But amidst the learning, from like a mental health perspective, don't be discouraged. Like, don't get down on yourself when things don't work. And some of you may have really hoped that this program would work for you and your body. And it just might be a, what is it, Al Gore? Might be an inconvenient truth that you're just not ready for week 12, even though you've done the work. I don't want to discount the work, but our bodies are the ocean, right? We respect the ocean, otherwise we're going to get tossed. So I want you to kind of waddle into it, work into those areas of discomfort, learn how to challenge yourself, get out into deeper water, but be safe and respect it. And you might be realizing these long runs, they're not in your capability. Again, I'm hoping I'm talking to the very tail of the distribution, right? I tried to design it to the middle so that anybody could improve their strength, their core, their stamina, their endurance, with the hopes of running a half marathon. Well, at week 12, you should be getting a good indication on whether or not you can do this. And that indication, just to clarify, should not be that the workouts get easy, right? I'm not talking about a decision made off of feeling, okay? Your feelings will lie to you, okay? They're not helpful. We make decisions, especially with fitness, off of logic. It doesn't mean that we ignore or push through discomforts that our body's giving us to avoid injury. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about I don't want to put my shoes on today, right? I'm never gonna get better. I'm wasting my time. Those aren't helpful. We gotta work through all that crap. And hopefully we have, right? Because I'm a jogging podcast. You've heard all my whining, all my complaining. And week 12, I'm still here. So there's no room for that in this program. I'm talking about respecting your body and your fitness goals. Ahagazemas. And realizing maybe that knee injury in your knee hasn't been moving in the right direction. That's wisdom, okay? That's a healthy respect for where your body is. That's realizing, having that discernment that if you push through, you're not gonna finish the half marathon because you're gonna wreck yourself. Or recognizing, here's the bigger one, especially for you middle-aged, ego-driven dads. Maybe it's realizing you'll finish the half marathon if you push through, but it'll be the last one you ever run, right? And you're gonna turn around when you feel mopey a couple months, maybe even a couple years later, and try to blame me for your misfortune. No. It's your body, my friend. You're the one who has to build that discretion and learn how to come up against your limits, but not ego-driven. Break through each one and then break yourself. That's 100% you. All right? I love you. That's you. No, it doesn't mean, right, we're going through all this. Doesn't mean today is a hard stop. But as we're 3/4 of the way to a half marathon distance, with just under 5 weeks left, I do want you to give yourself a really hard look right now and ask yourself, and we can navigate it in the comments. I'll check back if you have questions, like drop it on a live stream. But I really want you to ask yourself, like, is this right for me even still? Because you can have all the determination in the world, and if you have no cartilage in your left knee, well, you gotta do something with that. This whole journey has been for me to avoid back surgery, because after speaking with multiple healthcare professionals and experts in this space, like, I learned that if I can lose a little weight and build core and back, I can get in a position where my healthy routine is my treatment. I can walk the symptoms back to something that's tolerable or even eliminated. That's not true for everyone with every physical disposition. But you go through this discernment process, you realize, hey, I know I registered for this half marathon, but I'm gonna cancel, I'm gonna drop out, I'm gonna train up for one in 6 months. All right, I'm gonna take your program, I'm gonna split it and repeat it. So take 2 weeks on each 1 week. Turn your 4 blocks into 8, you know? If you're reaching that point, that is wisdom. And do the pieces of the program that are within your range, and within your range safely. Keep pushing where you can push. Don't hard stop everything because today you realized 9 miles is the wrong goal. Did you run 8 last week? Well, this week, go for 8. Heck, go for 6. But get something, right? Hop on your bike and do 12. Accomplish something. But also, step it back a little bit if that's where your body's at. And there's nothing wrong with that. Problem is with my distribution, right? Everyone in the middle and the upper side's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't run today. 9 miles is kind of far. Shut up. You know this talk's not for you. Shut up. Me and you are still pushing to that. We're both pushing to the, how far do we have to go? 9.3, half of 9.3. Half of 9 is 4, what is it? 4.5. Half of 0.3 is 0.15. We're both pushing at 4.65. All right? That's nothing. We're just edging out a little farther than what we did. Okay? So shut up and waddle your butt. Stop trying to take someone else's moment, okay? We're in the hard decisions, discernment space. There's no room for you to be a sluggard right now. Get on your legs and ride, all right? Press on. Enjoy that beautiful pink sunrise. Thank you, phosphorus and other chemicals floating in the sky. Enjoy the chafe you have between your thighs or your butt. Too much friction, I know, it's brutal. Just keep it moving. If you stop and start, it's worse. Just keep it gliding. You'll have calluses, booty calluses someday. We're just finding a nice, productive pace. Should we stop talking about quitting? Is that more than everyone else can handle? And quitting's the wrong term. Pausing, dropping back. I guess I was. There's nothing wrong with it. I just want you out here doing your best, but being safe with the body you have. There we go. It's not a bad pace. We had a bit of walk at the front. Nice. Let's keep it up. You know who wants to walk? This guy. But in my head, I know that holding out a trottle with good, safe form, far more efficient movement for me. So let's keep it up. And luckily, it is not yet as hot as it could be, as it will be. It's still thick, it's still bad, but it is not what it could be. Keep a nice lean. You're doing good. Maybe you'll just shut up for a little bit. Let you trottle. How gozaimasu. How gozaimasu. Just glide. Tell yourself your booty's strong, your quads are strong, hamstrings are strong, your calves are rocks. But don't lose your pace. Keep it mellow. There's no need to exert yourself. Y'all are like, shut up. You know how hard this 3 miles has been for me? I know. Pep up. You're doing great. Just enjoy the clouds. It's a swirly cloud day. I drank almost a whole gallon of water last night. I think I did at least a full 2 liter. I think a 2.5 liters. I was like, I need to be hydrated. Good form, good balance, tight core, tucked tailbone. Squeeze your walnut. Don't stride too far. Just control the movement. Gentle lean. Good breathing. Enjoy the bugs. Find the breath. Find control. run your race. You gotta shut out everything else. For instance, even running past that Obasan, I was like, wanted to pick up my pace. Why do I do that? Who am I out here to impress? Naturally, Obasan. We train you to impress the grandmas. I'm kidding. Definitely don't be that guy. Well, I mean, be whatever guy you want, but I won't be that guy. But find a pace, find a rhythm that you feel good about. Lock it in. We know it's uncomfy, but we're here. Remember? We did that 1.5 mile warm-up. That was pretty cool. You're probably exasperated near the end of that. I was. And then we did 0.5 mile walk. Probably pretty tired with that too, right? And then we found this little dream base. Take a nap right now. It's so nice. Finding really good form. A nice squeeze in the butt. How gozaimasu. Yeah. Just squeeze the booty. Lean forward. Gradual, my friend. Stay. Here's the hard part. Stay patient. Jog your race, your pace. This is your day. Stop impressing Obasan. Stop trying to impress me. Stop impressing whoever your jogging buddy is. Run your pace, your way. Safely, but challenging. It is still hard for me right now to stay locked in. I don't even have any pain right now, right? And we know Joe. And Joe has lifted and run through, safely, a whole host of pain, right? He's modified through a whole host of things. Right now, I have some slight muscle fatigue in my inner thighs, and my lower abs are just a little sore. They don't want to hold the posture, right? Because when we're running with good core, well, it puts a load on your core. That's hard. There is also a part of me, real talk here, runner's real talk, kind of got to go to the bathroom, all right? Well, when I hold that core with good form, where do you think that puts pressure? And we're not looking to have any mishaps. And yes, that pressure could work for 1 or 2, all right? And there's bathrooms available, but I'm not at that point. But I also not in a desire to over squeeze any region, if you know what I mean. Just trying to float the pace, lock it in, catch some momentum, and not look back. Even if you gotta give yourself a reward at this point, right? Like, hey, I know it's tough. I know 4.65 miles. That's a long haul. That's kind of far to run from your house. But hey, I'll let you walk when you get there. How gozaimasu. You know, sure, dangle a self-sabotaging carrot, right? That's what I've been doing. I'm only sore in my inner thigh and my lower abs. And you know what I want to do? Walk. That's all I want to do right now. What am I doing? Not walking. But at some point, I may. Whether it's gooey packet time, whether it's the halfway point, whether it's a bit beyond that. How gozaimasu. At some point, I might walk. and enjoy the pace, enjoy nature. Right now, I gotta stay in this mode. I gotta logic my way through it. Can't feel my way through it. Again, this is for the nominal upper end, right? Those that aren't gonna end up injured. We gotta show up for ourselves right now. We gotta say, hey, discomfort, I know, but you ain't gonna kill me. I'm not gonna tear an abdominal because I'm pulling on it a little bit. Right? Right now we're a little out of breath. If we walk, we're gonna have more breath, but we're gonna have to work longer. Right? Who's gonna make the pancakes this morning? For the kids, we drink a shake. Just kidding, I have pancakes sometimes, okay? But I control it. So we have to face the reality, like, we're uncomfy, but that's good. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. Are we still running farther away from where we started? Absolutely. Which means we're gonna have to run it back or walk it back. You're consciously choosing right now to edge out your workout. But most likely, I can't remember for sure, you're probably fairly close to 8 miles. For me, I don't feel like looking because I think it might be a little demotivating. Like if I look and it's only 3.4, I'll be like, oh, woe is me, let me walk. 4 is too far away. And even if it's close, it's still like, oh. So I'll leave it in my pocket for now. I know it'll make noise when we hit it, because right now 4 is not my goal. 4 is where I ran to last week. And you know what? I did that last week. That workout's over. So I got a new target. I got a new mindset. I got great control, great stability, great form, some mild discomfort. But really, compared to any other day I've had, we're in good shape. So we need to own that.
4 miles.
There we go.
Time 56 minutes and 59 seconds. Split pace 12 minutes 42 seconds per
Ooh, that's a nice mile. 12:42. That's clean. That is a true trottle, my friends. Wasn't a single walk in that. We had full control of breathing the whole time. We had a controlled short stride with good form. And let me just add to it, we didn't get injured. All right. So congratulations, you're comparable to where you were last week. And maybe it was a little harder to get here this week. We're all starting in different spaces, but you're here. Took you an hour. Nice. Put that hour on a shelf, it's over. Right now, I want you focused on the next 8 minutes. Not fast. You have to lock that slow, disciplined, yet uncomfy trottle. Maybe today we're working a lock it in day, okay? So if our goal today is 9.3 miles, which is a 5K, then, sorry, 15K, then you need to be running 7.5 kilometers to get to halfway. which is going to be 4.65 miles for your halfway. That's a perfect halfway. 4.65 for 9.3 miles. And the reason I like running, stretching up to the 9.3 is because it's a clean 3/4, right? It's a check the box where you're gonna go take your shower and your bath, and you're gonna tell yourself, damn, that was hard. Damn, I didn't like that. Oh, you're gonna give yourself a lot of that. But as you stretch and move through your day, maybe you take a little recovery nap, right? But you don't expect people to take care of you. You still put your shoes away, right? And that doesn't mean undoing those laces. Don't save that for future Joe, right? But maybe once you hit that, once you're done, you're gonna start to find a little bit of a success mentality. That mentality that's gonna tell you, hey, today we saw the fruit. We saw the fruit of the work, right? We've put in 12 weeks. And today we did 3/4 of a half marathon. If my life was on the line next Monday, I could run the full, I could do this again and tack on that last quarter if I had to, right? And that's an empowerment space. Doesn't mean we will, right? Because you'd probably be pretty darn sore or injured after that. How can I was? But it's an empowerment thing, so that we truly did make it. For instance, this bridge where those kiddos are hanging out and that little concrete thing, they just built that. The one on the other side is right where we started. We are clear across the river. How can I was? Clear across it. That's the steps that I always, I'm gonna use normal language, bitch and moan about what, running up those steps. They're right over there. We were as far from those steps as we possibly could be right now. All right, it's as far as we could be in all the right ways, okay? We did it safe. We had nice form. We're not gonna be discouraged. We're doing good work. You're at 4.37, okay? 4.38. Take your breaths. Resolve to keep going. We're gonna keep some good control here, friends. We're actually almost where I started another half marathon. My first one in Japan. It started right under that bridge up there. And I ran all the way this way. And that was brutal. That was before DadBod. That was the first time I tried running with my back injuries. And I'll tell you what, it was hard, man. My form wasn't what it needed to be. I got tossed in the waves of the walk run. Got passed by, I think, 98% of people. It was in the bottom 98th percentile. So it was at the 2nd percentile, right? But I finished that sucker. I kept training. I trained harder, safer, smarter. That's when I added MooseABoot to the journey. MooseABoot's good people. It's when I added physical therapy to my journey. And then I ran a half marathon around Lake Yamanakako. And I ran that marathon really clean until mile 4. And I hit that hill. And that hill started taking souls. And it took mine. And I got tossed in a run walk. But after doing that half marathon, I still walked 2 miles back to my Airbnb, took a shower, drove 2.5 hours home, woke up the next morning a little sore, worked out the following morning, uninjured, okay? That's not how the first one ended, because I didn't train up right. All right, you're at 5, or sorry, not yet. You're at 4.53. You got 0.1 miles until your turnaround. Mine's a little farther up. All right, don't lose resolve. I know we've been hanging out for over an hour. You're sick of me. Keep it up. All right, we're both locked in the throttle. And we both know only we can carry ourselves home. All right? No one's gonna rescue you. Unless you're really injured. If you're injured, if you've fallen and you're hurt, please don't message me on YouTube. I won't get there in time before the vultures and the jackals do, okay? Call a friend who physically lives near you. You're at 4.61, at 4.63. I know you don't want to, but we're gonna do the lean. Okay, we're gonna try to shave off 3/4 of a second. All right, lean, pick up your pace. Hold it. How can I was? 4.64, stride it out. Open your legs. Keep going forward. You hit it. Turn around. Turn around. Keep striding. Keep striding. Slow your pace. 5 breaths. Two more. All the way down. So let me know in the comments. You're on your turnaround. Did you start your turnaround in a walk or jog? Both are acceptable, right? Because either way, the only path forward is through, right? You still got to get your butt home. How guess I was. The only path forward is through. All right? If you hold on to one thing, grab that one. The only path forward is through. It's not back. All right? You're not gonna go and rerun that 4.65. You can't run it in reverse. You might be following your steps back, but it's forward. It's a whole new race for you. Yeah, this is where the half marathon started. It's wild. I gotta get to 4.8 and then turn it. There's the Amazon. Where are my packages? Go, Joe. Go. Go, Joe. Go. Go, Joe. Go. Go, Joe. Wow, you ran to another city. That's Fataku Tamagawa. And for me, 4.8, turn it. Ooh, nice sunrise. Akasaimasu. And I got the little jingle dangle on my wrist. There we go. There we go. Give me my 10,000 steps. I'll take it. Let's go. Let's go, friends. Back at it. It's a fresh race now. All right? Fresh run. Clean start. Put all that hard work on a shelf. You did it. This is a new race. So let's walk. I'll give you a walk. I was like, I could feel immediately that turnaround. I was like, oh no, 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 no. This is impatient, Joe. This is lose your lungs, Joe. So I'm gonna make myself bring it down. I'm gonna try to find good form. And at mile 5, I'll take a gooey. Hey, I made it longer. I normally go every 2 miles. I got focused. So I'll walk this 0.2 miles up to 5, hit some water at one of the water stops, grab a gooey, change batteries, unless my GoPro dies, possibly bio break. We'll see. I just have a good rhythm. I don't want to ruin the rhythm, but nature gets more stressful on certain legs of this run. I've been stranded before. It's scurry. Ah, man. 3:30 a.m. wake up. 4:11 start. Probably about 5:15. Over halfway done. It's beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful work, friends. We're still in the work right now. I still got the cardio. I want to do some deadlifts, but I'll wait till I get to water. And I'll tell you, this walk break at 5 miles, and again, you're different, so this isn't a flex or nothing. Like, my form, especially variable hip height, much more level than on the first warm-up. After that first warm-up, I had to work into some things. I had to get stuff put in order. I'm an old bag of bones, right? As are you. Things shift. Let's get one. I'm gonna get a couple creaks and pops. Oh yeah. Oh, but I got a good squeeze on both sides. So like the first couple times I did this, the right side, right booty, that could squeeze all day. Left booty clench. Oh, that one was a drift. It was a little weak earlier. But that one I drove straight up both cheeks, turned on core, caught it with the core. All that felt like a pretty good lift. So you can do these things, friends. It is a nice trail though, isn't it? Very lucky. Very blessed to live here the way that I do for the season that I'm here. Yeah, I think we've talked about this a little bit, but you know, 12 weeks into the journey, I could be a bit vulnerable. Like, running for me, right? The wonderful, terrible reasons why I run, personally. First of all, I'll start the superficial and we'll go deep. Setting a
Distance 5 miles.
Hey.
Total time 1 hour 11 minutes and 26 seconds.
Woo, clean.
Split pace 14 minutes 27 seconds.
Nice. Yo, you're over halfway. I bet you feel like you're over halfway. I bet you're like, why aren't we 1 mile away? 1 mile feels like a doable distance now, right? Can you imagine, like, when you started this, we were walking a mile. And after 4 weeks of lifting, talking, training, we trained up to walking a 5K. And I think after 2 weeks, we jogged a 5K, right? Like, you have come an incredible way, my friends. So do delight in that. Take that moment, think about it. Even as right now, maybe you got crap to do and you're jogging your natural pace. There are some of you in this program that probably can swing like 7 30-minute miles. Beautiful. Carry on. I'm out here doing what I can do and kind of what feels nice, honestly. I'm trying to enjoy my morning a bit. I mean, I woke up and came all this way. I might as well look right at the glaring sun before it gets hot, because I got partial cloud cover. But once the wind blows that puff away, oh, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. All right, let's have our gooey. And at the end of this fence line, I think there's a water fountain. Mandarin orange. I'm sure that's gonna taste like a real mandarin orange. Ugh. Luckily, we haven't had to record any viral TikToks of me being like, mile 1, mile 2, mile 3, right in the bushes. I've seen a couple of those. Especially because they don't give a trigger warning. They're just like, come run 10 miles with me. Pukes on mile 3. Yeah, the gooey packet just didn't agree with me today. Runs the other 7. It's funny though, I'm just like that. I just don't like to get to that point. We put the puking face on the logo because that's how it feels, but not what we actually want to do in any of these workouts. Oh, that's so bad. Dreadful. Ohagozaimasu. Sure is peaceful out here still. Cannon building. Almost done. So dreadful. Come on, clouds. I just need you to hold there till I'm on the other side of the river, okay? Work with me here. Now you get a free sunrise. If throughout this whole program you never wake up early enough to catch a sunrise, but you still do your workouts, I want you to know something that's really important. It still counts. All right? Still counts. Don't let nobody take your credit. You're still out here working. All right, I'm gonna do a GoPro battery swap. Go, go, GoPro. So I'll be back in 1 second. You keep truddling along. Woo! All right, friends, let's get back up there. So here's what I will say. 5 miles in. Again, this is just honest stories from Joe, okay? I really have no excuse. My back, wicked strong today. Abs, pretty darn strong today. Hips, holding it together. Quads, glutes. Everything is as right as it could be. All right. Even my feet and my foot strength is doing really well today. So I'm pretty pleased with that. We're 5.25. So we have exactly in 0.03 or whatever. We have exactly, come on, 5.29. Just tick, tick. Come on, I want the credit. Come on. 5.3. We only got 4 miles left. Easy, right? Well, no, I know it's not. I know it's, you've worked dreadfully hard up to this point. You got a lot of things on your mind. Something's sore. Something's not gliding the way it did when you were 18 years old. Maybe you're wearing down one side. Take a walk and just work on re-engagement. Do a couple shoulder flies. Squeeze the back. Squeeze those blades together. See if you could roll your shoulders back and down into good posture. So that it's like putting on a backpack, like tighten things up, right? Get your core, suck and lift a little bit. I know it's hard. You're 5 miles in, it's hard. Of course it's hard. It's hard. Just your underwear. If it's wearing into you a little bit. I mean, don't adjust it too much. You're still probably in public. Straighten out your shirt. Squeeze your glutes. Now, I'm not gonna run yet, even though I could. Right now, I could just make myself trottle. But I think where I'm at from a conditioning and cardio perspective is I'm impatient. I want 4 miles to be as fast as 1 mile, right? I want to work hard and have the suffering be over. So the mindset, it's not fully there yet. Again, I'm just narrating for your sake. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up my pace, lean forward, stride a little wider so I feel my glutes engage. I'm pushing off my glutes. Again, those glutes are those things you normally sit on most of the day. Their purpose is to move. So I'm using them to move, pulling in my core. And this pace, oh no, I might have to fart. This could be dangerous. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Maybe we're under control. biologics of running are really interesting. Once you get into ultrathon, ultra marathons. Shoot, man, I made that sound really dumb. Once you get into the ultra races, you know, people that run in 50, 100 miles, like, it's a lot like having a baby. I don't mean any insensitivities from that. Like, when you're having a child, you know, in the beginning, especially if it's your first child, because we've had 3, like, there's some level of decency in the beginning. And again, I don't mean this demeaning, like, these are conversations me and Felicia have had, like, you know, you're super uncomfortable, but like, still weathering things with some level of control. Normally in early contractions, you're still partially dressed unless you're in like the hospital, but you're rocking a gown. You know, things are kind of put together. Just another Tuesday afternoon, just super uncomfortable Tuesday. We're gonna grab some water. By the time you're like 7 dilated, what our birthing class instructor was explaining was like, all decency goes out the window. And it did. Oh, wow. Wow. First water. That was magic. But yeah, like, all decency goes out the window. Stuff happens in birth if you've had a child, whether you're the deliverer or the catcher. Like, it's a process. It's beautiful, beautiful thing. It's complex. But like, all these social constraints we have, again, what our instructor said of like decency, they go away. Oh, I'm so sorry, I burped. See, there goes some decency. My body just said nope to the gooey packet plus water. Ugh, some kind of chemical reaction. And in an ultra marathon, like, people are peeing blood. Like, toes are being rubbed off of feet. People poop themselves. Like, just the whole gamut. That's a level of conditioning and discipline I have zero aspiration to reach. Who knows, right? Who knows what 40-year-old Joe's gonna get into next, but at this juncture, that's a hard pass. There's a part of me that wants to flex up to a marathon. That's still a thing. But I want to do it smart, and these Mondays are hard, man. Like, building to a half, that's hard. I'm even thinking after the race, like, what's my maintain level? Like, do I keep doing 8s so I could swing up to a 12 when I wanted to? Like, what's my every Monday look like? 2 hours out on the road, right? All right, I'm gonna try to get into a jog here, but I really gotta work on my breathing and my pace, because I'm gonna wanna rush it, but we're gonna run out of clouds. Come on, all right, I'm gonna stride it a little bit. Stride it, push off the butt, pull in the abs. How did we get on this? Oh yeah, the fart, that's right. Might have to fart. Nice. So now these knees, let's talk about these knees. I don't know what's up, man. First 5.3 miles, both my knees were like, oh, it's a darn good time. And that accent's apparently borderline Irish. I don't know where that came from. It's terrible. I'm sorry. Forgive me, it's 5:30 in the morning, okay? My brain's just a pile of gummy bears. But my knees were totally fine. And then as soon as I leaned forward and started moving, both my knees were like, you sure about this? That's the only response I got out of my body as soon as I started moving. Both knees immediately, you sure about this? And now my left arch is like, I'm a little tight. And you got that rubber band in your foot. It's ideal that it never snaps. It's a very painful surgery to put tendons back where they used to be. So anyway, I'm gonna stride it out a little bit. Just a little bit. Just to hopefully find Nice lean, good form. Get it, OG-san. Walking backwards, I love it. It's good for you. Good for stabilization. Nice. Ohayou gozaimasu. Genki desu. Ganbaru. See, that's what I want to be, man. Happy OG-san. Walking backwards on the trail, flips around, sees a big sweaty white guy with a camera, and he's like, yeah, we're both out here kicking it. Look at, here's the happy OG-san, Oba-san. Walking dog group. That's why they live forever. Again, you know where we are right now? We're in the, I can do it. I don't like it. I'm over here remembering that, hey, see that city there? I gotta wiggle around this river to get towards it. My bridge is way the hell over there. Shoot. Is it really that far? And these birds are gonna come eat us. You ever see the birds? Whew. I mean, it's great. Old school. I think it's Alfred Hitchcock. So it's got that classic 60s, 70s, 80s. Forgot the actual year. Apologies to the old people that know. But it's got that, we'll say classic 60s horrors vibe. Right? Really suspenseful. You build towards a jump scare, and then it holds on the reaction of the person seeing the terrifying thing longer than any horror cut today. Then it cuts to what's scary. Then it cuts back to the horror screen. It's great. It's just slower. So you really gotta sit with it. Oh, and a lot of like, this is a very womanized society. So a lot of like, help me, help. I need to be rescued from these birds by my man. That kind of that piece of culture that has been gradually rewritten. Beautiful day for the trail, y'all. That bridge. Why is that bridge so far away? What the heck? Somebody moved it. It's been misplaced. It's never been that far away before when we're on this side. What the heck? Who did that? Oh yeah, you did that. Good work. Excellent work. Keep it rolling. Not today. I got a long one. All right, I gotta get the kids off to school. Well, Hezekiah's in school. The two youngins start Wednesday, Thursday. I gotta get them fed, get them dressed.
6 miles.
Yeah!
1 hour, 28 minutes and 47 seconds. Sprint pace 17 minutes, 21 seconds.
That's all right. We took a water break and stuff. That's beautiful, friends. 6 miles, y'all. 3 left. 3 in a nub. How excited I was. And it is still pretty empty out. It's great. So keep your pace locked. All right. Keep plunking along. We're in the work zone. We're doing good. For some reason, I didn't know we'd hit 6 miles on this side of the river. So psychologically, I don't know why, that's like kind of empowering. We still got 3 miles left over here, and I'm like, ooh, another mile. Look what we did. We did it, y'all. 6 miles. That's pretty cool. Pretty neat. That means, unfortunately, you only get to hang out with me for like another 54 minutes or so. Another 45 minutes. Kind of a bummer. I like spending time with you. I do. I've enjoyed this journey. I think you're pretty neat. I think for those who have been able to make it physically this far, I think that's a wild accomplishment, dude. Wild accomplishment. That's something you should be remarkably proud of, okay? This workout doesn't come easy, okay? None of these workouts have been easy. They may have been well structured, well designed, maybe well organized, but you're the one who has to set aside the time to show up and do it. So if you've made it this far, that's on you at this point. I'm just like the bumpers for bowling. You're the one rolling down the lane. You still get the credit. In each workout, it's like the bumpers lower, right? Last block, that's just you. Half marathon, that's just you. Every workout's been you. But you have had a buddy. Silence. He's got a great pace. Oh man. Oh geez, son. My guy. Oh geez, son is my guy. I should just make a t-shirt. I'm gonna walk for a minute, get my breathing. I could have kept going. Just, I want to control pace. I'm racing, I'm getting impatient. See that long cloud gap, I don't like it. And actually, it's almost gooey packet time again. But, and there's water up there. Maybe we'll gooey walk, water, finish up mile 7. But like, I should make a t-shirt where it's just like backside, OG son running. I'll be like, oh geez, I'm my guy. And then have like little anime line work popping off of different pieces. Like, look at the clench on that glute. This calf must be chiseled out of titanium. And katakana titanium. The front would say, run like OG-san. All right, it's perk time, right? This is my gumball, strawberry banana. It's my favorite. Maybe today we can do this workout on 3 of these, mainly because I've been distracted. It's nice out. It's quiet uptown. I feel you, son. Even though you're slightly blocked, I feel you. Good work, everybody. I'm really impressed. I seriously am. Like, if you've it's funny because I could be a crazy person right now. I might record this and edit this and post this. No one ever makes it to week 12. Find that hard to believe because people are stubborn like me. But if I'm a crazy person, it's been neat to encourage imaginary people while I run. It's been a unique psychological journey for me. Slowly dementing in, or what is it? Spiraling into insanity as I talk to these mythical people on a fictitious journey with me around Japan. Oh my goodness, that's so nice. So if that's the case, if you're not real, if you're just my inner monologue demons, thanks for being with me on the journey, because you've made it truly unique. Oh, and that takes me back to something, a tangent I started that never finished. The wonderful and terrible reasons why I run. Like, before this, before DadBod, before DadBod, for this silly journey, talking to you with a GoPro in my head, I used to run from my home. And we moved a lot to get to Japan. We relocated 12 times over the course of 1 year because of COVID, bed bugs, border closures, like anything awful you could imagine. Like, it all happened. Maybe someday I'll make a YouTube just about the journey. So anyway, I missed that. Prior to starting this journey at our old house, I had this goal. I had a friend who was going through some stuff in his life and his marriage, and within Christian faith, because I come from a faith context, don't worry, this hopefully don't intend for this to be preachy, it's just a slice of my life, right? I had a friend, he was wrapped up in some stuff, okay? And he had spent some time in prayer, and he just felt the need to move beyond some of these, we'll call them hindrances, in his life. And he decided to take like a fast. A fast is when you don't eat or don't drink or don't do something. For instance, it's common during Lent to fast from something for 30 days in order to rededicate it to God, and then allow God to like then bless that or something different in your life. Anyway, fasting's a thing. Maybe I can make a video about it someday if you're curious. And it can be done in a healthy, non-dangerous way, okay? Anyway, he felt called to fast from something for 100 days. And I was like, hey dude, that's super respectable. And for me, we were close buddies. We've been through a lot together. And I was like, hey, I want to join you. Now, I don't feel called to fast from what you're fasting from, but I am interested in fasting from comfort. So every day I'm going to wake up a little early and I'm going to run 1 mile for 100 days. And that was literally what it was. Every day, run 1 mile for 100 days. Sometimes there was a walk-run element of it. Some days there was a walk-run. I'm gonna walk this. Just so I could get a good lean. But 100-day fast, Pretty crazy for him, pretty crazy for me, because I was running for 100 days. And that was something, honestly, it was something I hadn't done since like college, run that often. But I wanted to be accomplishable. I knew I could make myself wake up. I knew I could go out for a mile, because I knew it only took 15 minutes. And on some days, I would add strength workouts afterwards. Like, I balanced it out, similar to this program. But I was doing PT for my back at the time, so there are certain areas of this journey where I was also humbled on form. Anyway, there's a path that I would run from my old house every day. And eventually, after I finished the 100-mile journey, I added to the path. And I found that the sweet spot for me in that season of life was 2.5 miles. I wouldn't do it every day. I'd do it maybe 2-3 times a day. Particularly in winter, it was my favorite. And there's this point at the end, is my halfway point, where it's like these newly developed, beautiful homes, like over-the-top mansions, things I could never imagine being feasible. But it was like a new development. So a lot of the homes were being lived in, they were new. But if I pushed to the end of the development, it was just these massive mounds of dirt, construction equipment. And it was kind of on top of a hill, so I could see down over the development that would come. And in some ways, that became, from a Christian context, what I'd call like an altar. So like an altar is a place you can go to pray that's kind of holy, set apart. We could say special. I'm gonna jog this. It was an area where like I would put in the time and the work to get to a spot, and then I would just pause there, often in the snow, because it was deep winter. It was freezing. I just paused there in the snow, and that was kind of like a bare my soul location, like just wrestle through all the crap I had going on in my life, try to take some of that to God, seek some discernment, some answer, some blessing, some meaning, right? Depending on the week. Because when we're in a faith context, that's what we do, or what we could do. Maybe that's better language. But that rhythm of life persisted. And what happened was we started a string of moves every 12 months. Within 12 months, we moved 12 times. In every location that we stayed, whether it was in Chicago in a hotel, Chicago in an apartment, Chicago with family, Cincinnati in the apartment or in the hotel. Every single location, I found a new altar to run to, and I can walk through them with you, because they're areas where I found deep insight and direction. Again, one of the whys that I run is to seek silence, seek direction, find discipline, strength. So we sold our house, moved into a small apartment. This apartment ended up having bed bugs, but while we were there, over the course of 6 months,
7 miles.
7,
1 hour, 34 minutes and 1 second.
nice,
15 minutes, 14 per mile.
good run, good run, keep it up, keep it up. So we move into this apartment, and I found a path. It's about 1.5 miles from that apartment, behind a Costco, and again, for some reason, into like a very, very scary, affluent community. There's no gate though, so I never got bothered by anybody. like the kind of community that in the center of it, they had a giant man-made lake with a lake house with ping pong and pool and a normal pool. Affluent enough to have both pools, you know. Anyway, there is this small man-made lake at the center of the community. By the way, I'm just talking so that I can put focus away from the run. We're 7 miles in. We've been doing this for a while, so let's just chat, right? Really want to punch it, but we're 7. Anyway, I'd rented this community from my apartment, and that season of living in that apartment was hell for us. There was so much anxiety, doubt, worry, because we're given this deposit, this promise that, hey, J&J's gonna move you to Japan. You're gonna do this cool, crazy job. We're gonna pack up everything, put it on a boat, ship it to Japan. We're like, all right, let's sell our house, pack everything up, put it on a boat. Let's live in this furnished apartment just until the border opens. It'll be a few weeks, they said. Turned into 7 months. Well, we had just had our 3rd child. We had a 2-bedroom, tight apartment. My son and daughter shared a bed. Actually, no, they each had small twins. I take that back, but it was in the same room. Like, the room was just beds. It's fine to share a bedroom. There's nothing wrong with that. Baby Emiko grew up in a closet. Like, we literally had a small closet with a door on it. We put the pack and play in there. For her early years, she woke up and fell asleep in a closet. You know, it's like, we made it work. Massive bed bug infestation. We moved into a hotel across the street. Wow, we literally sterilized every single piece of thing we owned, clothes, toys. Went through multiple rounds of extermination. Went up to Chicago, came back. It was just a bad season, man. But every morning, despite all that suffering, and keep in mind, like, it's mixed suffering. We were still, like, our housing was paid for by J&J. Like, financially, we were provided for. But the lodging situation was really just hard for us, coming from a house with a big family. And for some, that's normative life. It was still difficult for us to work through. But those runs, I would end those runs at the halfway point, normally at 5 a.m. while that whole town was completely asleep. And there was this lake, and I could sit on this little bench and it'd still be dark because it was winter at 5 a.m. and the lake would be like perfectly smooth, perfect reflection. So like in the water I could see, like, it's so funny, like mansions. And these aren't things that I desire. Although I live in Japan, like 4-bedroom house in Tokyo is a mansion. Like, we're very, very well set up and we're not paying rent. Like, it's all God's blessing and me providing value to Johnson & Johnson. It's a mix, right? Whew, let's keep walking. How gozaimasu. All the deep processing of the day. But I had that altar. And I'd go there and I would just like be like, God, why the heck is all this happening? Like, why? You know, we thought that you were opening this door to Japan, like things were gonna work out. And it is so hard for my kids. Their school's displaced. We're in this spot where Johnson & Johnson has to cover our housing in a weird way. Everything's packed. Now everything's covered with poison from bugs, and we're living in a hotel room, and like, you know, why all the suffering, why all the displacement? And then we received like word that, hey, we're gonna get this emergency medical visa, so it's time to move. And like, we thought that was our out. Like, all right, 7 months of hard, let's go. By the way, I'm still walking, holding abs, focusing on form, holding a good pace. we're in the work zone still. It counts. I'll probably kick it back up in a little bit. We'll see. Wow, gozaimasu. Yeah, so get this green light. We go up to Chicago to see family for 1 week, and then we're gonna leave. And whenever I'm in Chicago, and it's not like Chicago, it's a suburb, but I would always run around like these football fields, my middle school, my elementary school, and my high school, and just kind of reflect normally on like the blessings. Like, I had a really good upbringing that positioned me really well for college and life. And a lot of times those runs provide me some opportunity to kind of reflect on the full journey from start. Because when you live in a different state, in a different city, and you're building a family, you don't carve out a lot of space to remember what was life like when you were 12 years old. You know, what things were the real struggles to you in those seasons? And for me, I mean, one of the real struggles, even back then, was always weight, speed, physique, body image, fitting in, how gozaimasu, feeling meaningful, purpose. Like, I was really, even though I had a well-intended, loving family that was pseudo-stable with no trauma, I was always kind of looking for some kind of purpose or identity, connection, feeling of belonging, whether it was with friends, a partner, family, God, all of it. So in Chicago for that week, I ran to that altar, which is actually the halfway point where I would sit and pray for a little bit, was the football field. I'm gonna walk again, actually. It's bowel movement more than anything. I'm like, nope, too much pressure. Mainly because I know how far I am if anything did occur. I'm gonna see if I can finish this out though. But no, I'd run to that football field because that was the very first area where I experienced public shame for my inability physically. Like 8th grade. No, it was earlier than that, 6th grade. Yeah. 6th grade, I told my parents I wanted to do football. Prior to that, I played baseball. And I liked video games, and I was sedentary. Didn't eat well because I wasn't educated in it. Just kind of ate what was normative. And I never ran long distance, right? I'm a 6th grader. Much better shape now than I was in 6th grade. But I told my parents, like, yeah, I really want to try to play football. And, you know, I go through all the insecurity of getting fitted for my helmet and my pads and show up to first practice. And the very, very, very first thing they do is they put your pads on, get everyone in a big huddle. They're like, all right, go run a lap. And you run a lap around the whole football field, around both uprights, both on the north and the south end. Yeah, I think it's north and south end. Then you come back, and then you do your stretches and your drills, and you start practice. Well, that's the farthest I've ever run in my whole life, 1 lap around a football field. And literally a quarter into it, I had no idea how to run safely, for sure, but just how to run, how to breathe, how to move. Never trained in those areas. And I'm wheezing, sweating, feel like I'm gonna pass out. And I literally like completed the whole loop, ran past the coach and all the parents, past the field to like a porta potty. Just went in the bathroom, pretended to go to the bathroom. I was just like weeping, like just feeling so insecure that I was at the back of everybody, that I don't belong, that I'm stupid, that I suck. All these thoughts, right? Circling, and all very visual. And honestly, many aspects of youth sports had layers of that, and I always tried to get better, which was helpful. I think I learned a lot in those spaces. But I really wish before that, and I'm gonna be careful here, I'm not gonna blame my dad for anything, okay? My dad was with me in all these journeys and things, right? We played catch together, went to like almost all of my games. But I wish like he had taught me how to run a lap before I had to do it publicly. Like, he was like, all right, bud, let's go out and try this. And I think he tried before football started even, and I was resistant. So he let me be resistant. Like, there's a two-way street there again. That's why I'm not blaming my father at all. That experience was super formative for me. Very, very hard for me to navigate. And that's why when I go back home and I run past all of my elementary, middle school, high school, that field, that field is right in the middle of it. And in some ways, even today, as a 31-year-old working on medical innovation from Japan, raising 3 kids, making TikToks, I still feel that same level of insecurity. Sense of I don't belong. What am I doing? And everyone can see. Every OG-san, every Oba-san looks at me and my pace, says, what's this guy doing out here? Right? And it is kind of sorrowful. It's a nice tangent. Anyway, that is one of my altars that I run to in a place from which I process life, kind of settles and grounds everything. Because that story, as hard as that story is for me still to tell as an adult man, that is still like a vulnerable moment for me, is like, that's my come from, right? Now I run 9 miles in Japan with a beautiful, inclusive community of any sized body coming out here to do the best they can and find a sense of purpose and value in the work they're doing, right? I'm a heck of a lot more knowledgeable now than I was as a 6th grader running for the first time, who didn't understand how all these systems are connected and how to control breathing, where to build strength. I was just out there running on a large, unhealthy, sedentary frame with no control. So anyway, Chicago, for that week before moving to Japan that we thought, segue, right? That was my altar to kind of pray and consider like, oh, this is where we're coming from. This is where we're going. We got our plane tickets all sorted. We're all packed up. We're doing Thanksgiving with family and we're gonna go. Literally, the day before we got our visa, Japan closed their borders because of Omicron. First border closes were because of Delta, which set us back 7 months. So we were literally like foot almost through the door. Our house had packed up to that point for 7 months, and that just sucked all the wind out of the sails. By the way, friends, if I pause for a minute, I believe you're doing excellent. 7.94, almost a perfect 2-hour workout. You're almost right at 8 miles, which is beautiful, okay? And I know whether you've run the whole time, whether you've walked, whether you biked 16 today or whatever you did, we're here and we are right on the edge of completion. We're safe, we're sore, we're fatigued, but we are within the capability to finish. That's your little mini pep talk. I know that I've been working on a life story for the last 2 miles here, so sorry about that. Just wanted to remind you that you're still running. Good job. Let me get a couple deadlifts really fast. Woohoo! I got an instant hip crack. That feels much better. All right, tuck it and go. Let's go. Tuck the tailbone and go. I mean, yeah, let's just let that comment hang. Oh God, let's just, all right. Anyway,
8 miles.
8 miles.
Total time 2 hours and 9 seconds.
There we go.
Split pace 16 minutes 8 seconds per mile.
Miles. Here, you only got 1 mile and 0.3 miles left. It's really nothing. And as you know, we could totally run that, but I kind of want to finish story time, so I'm just going to walk at a good strong pace to finish out. We'll see, I might jog it at one point. So I had that altar. We get this change of direction, which sucks. We lived in a hotel for about a week, 2 weeks while we were looking for housing between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Like, just absolute mess of our life. We had everything in suitcases ready to get on the plane. Then we had to move into a hotel and pack out. All right, we were like living in a rental car. We had sold our minivan. Like, everything was bad. And then so while we're at the hotel, I found this path and I would run. It would take me up to like a little field, a little wheat field or something. I don't know what kind of crap grows in Illinois. Something like that, maybe just grass, tall grass. I'd run to that, turn around, but before I turn around, stop, pray, process. It's November in Chicago, my friends. It's nasty, so you don't want to pray too long or you'll just freeze and die. I want to pray a little bit. And again, some of that discomfort in the altar, get into it, processing. Like for me, it helped me take off comfort. Uh-oh. My phone's making an emergency call because it's wet. You know it's good when your pockets are so wet on the outside. This is the outside of the pocket. I'm putting my phone backwards. It's so wet that it's activating the phone. It's hilarious. Keep it up, good posture. So we're running in the cold, processing. All right. Finally, we find some housing. We're gonna live in a 2-bedroom furnished apartment. Again, thank you, Johnson & Johnson. In Northbrook, which is just north of Chicago. It's about 45 minutes from family or so. It's a decent distance. And we got settled in there and we ended up living in that unit for 4.5 months. And looking back, it's not a lot of time, but in that season of, again, waiting for a border to open, kids displaced from schools twice, living out of suitcases again, you know, it's like every time we moved, we took on a lot of cost of things we had to purge and buy again. Dishware, spices. Yeah, it's just, at this point, I'd only been promoted once in 7 years at J&J, so like the whole thing economically wasn't working. But in the mornings from that apartment complex, which was beautiful, by the way, there's no bed bugs there. We were very blessed to live there. Looking back, it was a nice, very nice spot. And we learned how to live with a little. Well, live with a lot concerning our kids in a little space. But there's this beautiful trail I would run. It was next to some abandoned railroad tracks. And then I'd run down the trail. A lot of times I'd even be like ice running, because again, we're Chicago, middle of winter, right? Picture between Christmas and New Year's. So I'm running through sleet, snow, ice. But then I'd get to the end of this trail at about 1.5 miles, and there's this path I could cut through the woods on the side, get out to these abandoned railroad tracks, use my feet to like scrape the snow off of the iron tracks. And I just sit out there and pray, process, figure out what the heck's going on. God, what are you doing? You know, bud. That was my conversation. What are you doing, bud? You gonna take us to Japan? Meanwhile, in that season, I'm gonna start jogging a little bit. Again, the only thing that feels this jog right now, out of all of it, my knees. Because my left and right knees are like, are you sure? And now I'm not in any pain. They're a little sore. And the mechanics moving between running and walking load them different. So I'm just being careful. But I have the strength to do this. So silly as it sounds, part of it's just the lower end stamina concerning bathroom break. Gosh, I hope this doesn't turn into a video. Anyway, so we're discerning. I have my ice runs along the trail to my railroad altar to pray, process, and think. And finally, some doors open up in our life. We pack everything up, hop on a plane, and we move to this cool place called Omotesando. It's like the Japanese Magnificent Mile. Magnificent Mile is a shopping area in Chicago, you know, with your Prada and all that crap. Beautiful, beautiful little Tokyo shopping strip. Another 2-bedroom apartment. This time with a crib, so at least Emiko doesn't have to sleep in a closet. She slept in a closet in Ohio and Chicago. Right? We lived there for about 2 months. And again, I had a running path. I would get out, I would run from Omotesando down this main shopping strip out to an area called Meiji Jingu. And Meiji Jingu had this beautiful park. There's cherry blossoms. Actually, it's it is our first VR video we ever recorded and released on YouTube if you want to watch it, where we went for a family walk around there. There's also a Shake Shack. And I'd go on those runs and just kind of process life in Japan. Like, all right, we're still not settled, but I think this is here. You know, I think this is real at this point. You know, I'm making all these new connections with people, working a challenging job, but we were present in a new country together as a family. Everything we had packed in our suitcases, at least, had made it to Japan, which was pretty cool. And we were living out of boxes in a 2-bedroom apartment. Well, we then went house hunting, looked at 3 properties, found the beautiful home that we now live in, a home we had prayed for. We had prayed for a 4-bedroom in central Tokyo near a church we used to serve our missions work, with room to do music and content creation and for our family to grow. Even though at that point we didn't know we'd be expecting a 4th child in Japan, right? Like prayers we had deposited 2-3 years prior. All of a sudden, that house drops into our life, right? It's absolutely beautiful. It's more than we ever could have asked for. Even though we did ask for it, it's more than that. And when I started this run here, I was just processing, you know, what are the chances we still get to stay here? Should I buy a projector or not? Should I invest in the space or not? After all the moves, right? It's all those moves that lead to all the uncertainty in decision making, because those experiences are real, right? But when we finally moved into that new house, we lived on rented furniture. Again, thank you, J&J, for a couple weeks. Then eventually our shipment of goods that we had packed on a boat across the Pacific Ocean. Arrived with our couch and our TV and Kai's PS4, which was a big deal for him. Right? Everything arrived as planned, as intended, a complete year later. And now, fast forward, it's been almost 2 years for us living in Japan. And amidst all the uncertainty of the role, layoffs that my colleagues have gone through that impacted me, all the culture shock you can imagine, expecting another child, all these big time life shifts now that we're in country, now that we're figuring out this expat life, I needed an altar. I needed a space to run, process, lament, seek direction. And the path that we're on together, the 9 miles we did today, is the path that I have sought discernment of. Instead of talking to you in these YouTube videos, I'd talk to myself and I'd pray and talk to God. And that was what running was for me. And it's still very similar. I just bring you in as the third person in that journey. That's why I'm an open book. That's why I verbally vomit, because it's really the only space I have for something like that. How gozaimasu. But that's what gets me through, y'all. That's what helps me take a shower, put my shoes away, and show up and be a dad for those kids. Helps me flip it on today, for the rest of the week, these moments of challenging my body, challenging my mind. But more than that, it's the processing that happens while I do something hard. And it's something hard that I can't escape from, that I can't distract away. I can't be on my phone scrolling while I run. Just like you can't. The closest thing you have to distraction is me. And I'm not that bad. Where are we at? We almost at 9? 8.73, friends. Almost 6:30. I wanted to get home before 7, so I think we're tracking well. I think the 3:30 a.m. wake up was worth it. I don't know, what do you think? You glad we woke up today? You're like, Joe, stop flexing your weird wake up time. All right, let's go. Got a nice stride. Big rocks. This is my get it done pace. I'm like, I just gotta get up and over the hill, and there's water and a finish line waiting for me up and over the hill. And then if I finish my loop and make my way home, there's a bathroom. I like bathrooms. I like my bathroom. Not that bathroom with the squatty potty of doom. Mine. But my Japan runs, that was the first altar. I'd run a mile out to that. That was my sit and pray spot. And it served me well for a year of consistency. And then I started going further down that lane, and the altar kept moving. And that was kind of hard for me. So I kind of wanted that, ooh, stairs. I wanted, ooh, oh, shoot. Oh, man. I wanted that. Let's run it. Okay, silence. Okay, silence. I need that consistent altar. gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. It said ganbatte, which means like, keep pushing, come on. Wasa. Whew. But I needed, if I wanted to train, go farther, right? I needed to move that space of prayer and reflection. It couldn't be in the middle. Crap. It had to be at the end. Shit, I really gotta go to the bathroom. I don't want this to be a TikTok, okay? You're almost at 9 miles, by the way, keep it up. Gosh, I'm so weird. Stranger walking by. Huzzah! What does that even mean in Japanese? Gozaimasu. Oh, so good. Finish up, y'all. And again, don't lose your core. All right, keep everything taut. You work this hard. Finish well. Finish well doesn't have to mean finish fast, okay? Finish with good form. Finish with a nice lean. Finish with the squeeze. We're building endurance in our core.
9 miles. Total time 2 hours, 16 minutes and 38 seconds. Split pace 16 minutes, 29 seconds per mile.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. You did it. 9 miles. Cheers, y'all. And we're not injured. Well, I mean, you could tell me in the comments if you're injured, but hopefully you're not injured. I'm in good shape. I'm sore. I'm working certain areas. But there is no hip grind, no lower back compression for me today. Even the upper back just started sitting in a really good spot. My glutes and my legs were firing well. And that's a big deal because when there is pressure on the spine, I get sciatica on my right side, which means the muscle control from one thigh to the other is different. You know, when there's that partial numbness, you can't feel the same way. That's why sometimes my left leg leads my right, or no, the other way around, but whatever. Anyway, 9 miles in. Incredible work, friends. Anyway, I needed that halter, right? If I wanted to start stretching out, train for a half marathon, I still needed that space to stop and reflect. And I started to put that time, most of the time, at the end of the workouts. I think there's been a couple 2-mile walk runs where we've ended at that first spot. But for me, it's that little river where we do that reflection on the rest days on Wednesdays, right? Because Mondays we're doing this. I gotta get home, right? I've had 9 miles of silence to process. Gosh, just about everything should be processed out for the week. And then Friday, oh man, Friday just hits hard. Those fartleks, there's still a part of me that feels like that's a huge mistake, which is why they belong. If it feels hard, it's probably good for you. Probably. If it feels injuring, it's probably injuring you. Almost there, friends. Just gotta walk past Obasan. Ohayou gozaimasu. I'm too weak to squeeze the bottle. What the heck? Japanese plastic's so hard. Oh, I'm so soft. Let's check our distance. 6:32, 9.16. You have 0.14 miles to get to a perfect 15K. All right, and that's success. Success isn't how many times you ran or walked. It's not the pace you did it at. Even though all those things matter, even though they're all helpful, success is completion. And completion occurs in 0.11 miles. And don't you feel good, friend? Oh, man. Marvelous. Ohayou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu. 9.23 miles. You're almost there. Right. So, for you, where you're at, regardless of whatever faith context you come from, right? Because we all come from one or lack thereof. Some of us are moving into others. There's aspect of faith or spirituality that can drive and motivate us, propel us forward. And across a lot of faith backgrounds, the ability to sit, reflect, some use the word like meditate, to carve out that space of solitude. In many ways, for me, that's what running is. It's a spiritual practice of solitude, prayer, reflection, seeking direction. I hope you can find that too. All right. 9.29. Ohayou gozaimasu. And here we go. 9.3, y'all. You earned it.
Workout paused.
Workout finished. Save the workout. Ugh. Nice. All right, friends. Thank you so much for journeying with me. Keep pressing on. You're doing great. And again, here's your encouragement. It's not about seeking prayer, reflection, any of that stuff. That was all good talk. Untie your shoes when you get home. Put them away. And don't expect anybody to take care of you today. Take your shower. Do your foam rolling. Don't be a grump because you worked hard. All right? You need to start finding some energy and bring people into the journey the right way. Anyway, see you around, friends.